With heavy hitters came the two wager-focused heroes, Olympia and Betsy. And while each of them have gathered some loyal fans, there's no denying that both of them have failed to find overall traction in the meta, especially since Miss Veil's drop. As we've seen with cards like Drink 'em Under the Table, it's quite probable that our wagered heroes will continue to pick up targeted cards in the future. But as much as I like her, Betsy is pretty limited in her scope. She wants to wager a big attack with multiple blues in hand. But Olympia, now that's a different story. Because he generates gold, there is perhaps long-term hope for him in picking up beneficial gold use cards in future sets. So today I'll explain why I'm wagering that Olympia does have a future. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Following his release in Heavy Hitters, Olympia was by no means the best warrior, but he had several quite viable play lines. Early on, we'd seen the strength of Olympia hatchets, using card advantage from generated gold to set up dominated, buffed hatchet turns. My preferred Olympia build that season was an aggressive Decimator Axe build, using cards like Edge Ahead and Oldhim to come in with 7+ attack Decimator swings that debuffed a blocking card, giving value in either direction. If they blocked your attack and won the wager, your opponent could rarely take full advantage of the tokens. And if you hit, you got them plus gold, fueling both your next turn and your end game. It was a solid build, and it could hold its own. But with the great book burning of fall 2024, in which card draw across the game took a massive nerf bat to the face, Cash In was banned. And this was the functional end of Olympia in the constructed formats. While it of course remains true that gold in and of itself can lead to card advantage, it's really just not efficient enough to be a legitimate strategy right now. And now folks, you're of course free to disagree with me about Olympia and his viability, but the data is there. The recent Pro Tour London field was comprised of 29 different heroes, but not a single Olympia, only one of 7 heroes with no representation. The loss of Cash In functionally removed the net advantage of Olympia's ability, and the alternate uses via Visit the Golden Anvil really just aren't good. When Golden Anvil was spoiled, I was very clear on my feelings and my disappointment. That card is bad and darn near unplayable. Some Olympia fans argued I was wrong, but let's just say scoreboard now, shall we? As an aside, if you're wondering why I think the card is so bad, it's not just the fact that it doesn't have Go Again. It's the fact that the card inherently asks your deck to do 2 different things. Golden Anvil requires you to generate gold, meaning that it leans into a more aggressive strategy that requires winning wagers. Yet, to use the card, you have to give up momentum and pivot into a fatigue-type strategy. Going hard, then stopping and taking up is not only a weird strategy, but also one that just won't win games in today's flesh and blood. So yeah, things have been pretty bleak for Olympia here, which is a shame because I think he's a pretty cool hero with great, or at least theoretical, potential. But, dare I say, there may be a ray of hope.
The more work we do with gold, the more we kind of fall in love with it as a mechanic. We had a lot of trepidation around gold very early on as we were developing it, but we've learned it's pretty safe and it introduces a lot of good things to Flesh and Blood, a lot of unpredictability. It is card draw that works a little bit better for the game, so I don't think this is the end of gold. We have some big plans for gold in the future. I don't know about next set, but gold is on the radar much more now than it was in the past.
I would just chip in and say for our Kassai fan particularly that we do have a product with warriors in it and gold in it in the pipeline. So you're going to be happy.
That's pretty good. I like to hear that. Okay.
So the reason those statements are so exciting for Olympia is because, let's be honest here, the only advantage he really has over the other warriors is gold generation. If he's not only making the gold, but taking advantage of it, then why really play him over any other warrior? Short of specializations or more wager support, Olympia's upskill path ultimately thus lies in doing something with gold as a payoff. In the cast discussing Olympia and Vector's new specs, I also proposed what I'd like to see for Olympia, a wager bonus sword. And while I think something like that would not only be cool, but would help to generate the gold, again, Olympia really needs something to do with that gold. After all, generating a pile of gold only to pitch it for draw cycling is really inefficient and just isn't a true success path in today's game. And that's why I believe the path forward with Olympia will lie in gold payoff effects more so than simply just generation. The easiest and most straightforward path is to give Olympia a specialization that is cash in, basically. And while that may be low-hanging fruit, and yes, would technically work, and would put him back to where he was prior, it's probably not super likely given the language around card draw in the fall 2024 update. More than likely, for Olympia, the path to future growth would either lie in cards that consume gold for an attack bonus, or give other form of in-game value. If we go back to heavy hitters, we see a card that serves as a template for exactly this type of thing, and that's of course Double Down. Double Down is a 2-drop red Warrior Guardian attack action card that plays for free if you sack a gold, and it gives the next wagered attack +3 in overpower. And while this card has generally underperformed, mostly due to the effective dual condition, it does serve as a good example of design philosophy and where the future could lie. Because sure, Olympia fans everywhere would love to see a card like this one shown here, where you can destroy X gold to pump an attack. And yes, a card like this could be viable if balanced correctly. Certainly not what's shown here, mind you, but you get the idea. Alternatively, I do suppose we could see something similar to Melody's Final Act, or maybe Mistveil's 3 Visits, where the gold is used as a pitch engine to power an ultimate. This could totally work, but to be fair, it doesn't seem very warrior-y, now does it? And that's why I'm wagering that we'll see more stuff usable by Olympia in the future that provides bonuses or perhaps cost reductions with the consumption of gold. And thus, I'm wagering and hopeful that Olympia's day is coming. Now obviously, the pirate-themed High Seas set leans heavy into the gold theme, but I want to be cautionary here, Olympia fans. I don't have super high hopes for the stuff in High Seas that support anyone other than pirates. I very much expect that most of the gold-related stuff in the set will probably be pirate class. Instead, for Olympia, the future is likely onesie-twosies via expansion slots and, perhaps, one day, an armory deck. But until then, we'll have to look forward to the future gold set as teased, while crossing our fingers in the meantime. Luckily, if you want to join me in wagering on Olympia's future, the buy-in is actually pretty cheap right now. Up the Ante is currently just over $1 US, and the RF version is a 5-spot. Double Down, if you think that's worth picking up, is about $2.50, and the RF is actually very approachable, but keep in mind that's mostly because there is an EA version out there which attracts the max bling dollars. Heck, even Olympia's Adult Marvel is recently selling for the mid-60s US. Filling out your playset for an amount that barely breaks minimum free shipping price on TCG Player is not a bad way to insulate yourself from having to FOMO buy in the future if you're into Warriors. When we do see the eventual future design space for gold mentioned by Brian, I do think Olympia will be poised to take advantage of that space as well. But regardless, I'm wagering and hopeful that Olympia's day is coming. Let me know, folks, if you're there with me, and sound off in the comments below. Thanks for watching, my friends, my Olympia fans, and go Commando.